Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel, and today we will be doing something very special. This will actually be the start of a brand new series on my channel, that being turning generic train items into Thomas items. So a while ago, I found these two generic motorized engines from a thrift store, and thought it would be a very fun project to turn them into Thomas characters. These engines are actually incredibly close to the motorized engines from the Thomas range, which is pretty interesting. Both engines have magnetic coupling similar to Wooden Railway, as well as being remote-controlled engines. Both the steam engine and diesel engine require 3 AAA batteries to run. Both of these are compartments that are able to be removed on the engines. Both engines fit perfectly on Trackmaster track, which is great, and they're also pretty much in scale with Trackmaster engines. Interestingly, just like classic Trackmaster engines, when the engine is off, the wheels can move, and when the engine is on, the wheels can't. Like I said before, the engines have magnet couplings, meaning that they can connect to Wooden Railway engines. Alright, so for the steam engine, pretty much all I'm going to be doing is just repainting it, which should be pretty simple. As for the diesel engine, it will require a couple modifications to make it look a bit more realistic, and also I might repaint it too. For this episode, we're going to be working on the steam engine first. Next episode, we'll take a look at the diesel engine. Here we are at the workbench. This is where I make all of my customs. And wow, yeah, it's pretty messy. I should probably clean that up. First up, we have to dismantle the steam engine. This is pretty easy, as we just have to remove all the screws. Also, I realized that in order for this engine to actually run, we're gonna have to remove the remote control function of it, which actually seems pretty hard. After removing another cover, here is the circuit board, and interestingly, there is actually a speaker. Here's the motor, and looking at all this stuff, it is actually making me pretty overwhelmed. So maybe let's look at painting the engine first. So I'm thinking a nice color would be a very nice bright red. First though, we're gonna have to prime the engine. I'm using a white spray paint for the base of the engine, so that the red paint will look very nice and bright. After that, we can now paint the engine. The paint I'm using is Tamiya spray paint. While the engine is drying, I decided to go ahead and remove the speaker. I also removed part of the RC function. Now comes the hard part. Somehow, I'm gonna have to figure out how to wire a switch to this engine so that I can have a on and off function, rather than the remote controlled function. I also decided to go ahead and add a Trackmaster coupling on the back of the engine. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the engine to work properly, so now the engine can only turn on when the batteries are connected, and only turn off when the batteries are not connected. Also, I can only get one pair of wheels to run on the engine. The back set of wheels should also be able to work, but they weren't working. I decided to start adding the detail on the engine. I painted the pipes and handrails in black. I used Tamiya masking tape on the windows so that I can have very clean edges when I painted them. I just used a regular black acrylic paint to paint the windows, and it came out pretty alright. Now time to add the weathering. All I did was I used a cosmetic beauty blender and put it in black paint and applied it onto the engine. Yeah, I kind of added a little bit too much weathering, but I mean, it's fine, I guess. I also started to add some rust weathering on the engine where I thought it made the most amount of sense. I crushed up some pastels and used the dust for rust weathering, as well as also making rosy cheeks on the engine's face. Once I liked how it looked, it was time to give it a clear coat to save the paint from getting scratched. I used a satin clear coat by Rust-Oleum. And with that, the engine was almost done. I actually was able to get the engine to run properly with a brand new switch, and also a very helpful tutorial that helped me install it. Yippee! All we need now is to just name this engine, and I think I'll name her Kathy. And this project is finally completed. It was a lot of fun making this engine actually, and I really did enjoy it. Now let's see this engine in action. Let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see more of these kinds of videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.